Sqool co-founder and studio director Saleem Dabbous discusses the goals and origins of its unique structure. Waypoint has published a story on the indie developer Coop, exploring the studio's unique co-op-like management structure that bestows equal pay and equal power to each and every dev it employs. It's a studio structure that many have discussed in recent memory, including Coop itself in a 2018 AD session, and one that naturally has its own benefits and detriments. The model itself is something more and more devs are speaking highly of too, like the recently founded Workers Co-op, the Glorious Society, and Dead Cells Dead Motion Twin. In short, Coop operates its studio as a workers cooperative, meaning that all members of its staff are paid the same, no matter their tenure, and all have an equal say in the big decisions that of the studio. Structures might leave only to those higher up on the food chain. One team's success is every team's success, says studio co-founder Saleem Dabbous. Fundamentally, if you choose to work here, you are agreeing to that kind of arrangement, where we are all working to find a way to make games sustainable for the whole company. The story points out that the system itself is not flawless. One dev interviewed points out that there is an adjustment period on from the start of hierarchical business structures most people have been exposed to in some degree since birth, and that, though the studio hopes to mitigate it, crunch is still an occasional part of the job. But, argues Dabbous, by being honest, when we fuck up and do have to exploit ourselves, at least we are benefiting from the fruits of our labor. It's not just going to another person who gets to fire us at the end of the day. The full story over on Waypoint dives into the origins of Coop's co-op, and touches on how the 10-person team has navigated around their own preconceptions about the employer-employee relationship to adjust to the unique management style. Video Game Deepcase's weekly newsletter from video game industry watcher Simon Carless, GDC Gamasutra co-runner, rounding up the best long-read standout articles videos about games every weekend. This week's highlights include interviews on the much-vaunted Apex Legends, info on Night Thriller Observation, and the loneliness of Sunless Skies, as well as Ration Doll, Art Sqool, and a plethora of other neat things. Particularly happy with the amount of other media adjacent to video games covered this time around: streaming TV shows, books, performance theater, and a dreaming about video games. That last one happens quite a lot in your household, and specifically your head, I bet. Until next time, Simon, curator. Taking Back Roguelikes with Raigan Burns, the Spelunky Showlike Libsyn podcast. Raigan Burns of Metanet Software, stops by for a spirited debate on the term roguelike, as we discuss the tenets of the genre, why, and if, they are important, and how Spelunky fits into it all. The world thinks we are making Titanfall 3 and we are not. This is what we are making. According to Eurogamer article, although many of the game's details have been splashed across the internet, there's still plenty here to discuss, including how the game actually plays, monetization, and what this means for the Titanfall franchise. At a closed doors event last week, I was able to trial Apex Legends for 6 hours, and ask Respawn a number of questions about his decision to go full battle royale. Simon, just note, other coverage all over the place, including at The Guardian. 120 notable platformers of 2018. PixelProspector YouTube video. I have just created a compilation video, which shows 120 top platformers that were released in 2018. It features a wide variety of platformer subgenres. The you will see it. traditional platformers, hardcore platformers, platform shooters, platform fighters, puzzle platformers, action-adventure platformers, and more. Simon, just note, man, there's a lot of video games out there. PC building simulator turns the complex hobby into goofy fun. Shannon Liao Verge article. There are few things more meaty than a PC game, where you build your own PC. PC building simulator gives you the experience of being a one-person PC building workshop, juggling multi customers with various demands. Your tasks could be as simple as blowing dust out of an older computer and scanning for viruses. As you level up, it could be to build an entire PC from scratch. Protest game. Jaroslav Svelch mighty press blog article book excerpt. 30 years ago, people gathered on Prague's largest Skleroto protest the oppressive regime of communist Czechoslovakia. One of the earliest political computer games recreated the events, with Indiana Jones as the main character. In the final chapter of Gaming the Iron Curtain, Jaroslav Svelch tells the story of this game and explains its background. Simon, just note, super interesting looking book. There are not enough on local video game scenes written in English. High thriller observation is the spiritual successor to Alien Isolation, Andy Kelly PC Gamer article. Observation is an upcoming sci-fi thriller from No Code, the team behind horror anthology Stories Untold. In it you play as Sam, an orbital space station's advanced artificial intelligence that has suddenly become self-aware. Something has gone horribly wrong on the station, leaving it drifting near Saturn, and it's up to you to help survivor drive Emma Fisher escape to safety. Making games better for players with cognitive disabilities. Game Maker, best tool get you to video. Video games are for everyone, but those with disabilities can be left out if developers do not consider their needs. In this series of videos, I will be sharing guidelines and best practices for making games more accessible to a wide range of disabilities. This time, I am looking at design choices and menu options that will affect those who have cognitive disabilities. Sunless Skies, wonderful horrible emphasis make a murderous void feel like home. Alec Meer on Paper Shotgun article. The word lonely comes up often when discussing Sunless Skies, which seems like nothing to say about a game in which you haul yourself around the stars in the company of up to 24 crew members. But that's the tone of Fail Better's Twisted Sci-Fi Victoriano roguelike, feeling desperately alone and vulnerable, in a desperately large and lethal place. In total control, Ernie Smith, Teddy article. Benj Edwards, a tech journalist and historian, who has ruled his vintage computing and gaming website for nearly 15 years, has recently found himself in the joystick business, building out an array of joysticks for platforms common and obscure mostly by hand. He notes THATBX Foundry comes at a time when retro gaming is full of people looking for an upgrade. How a lifelong diet of games influenced the 7 deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, Robert Placenzi Eurogamer article. But to describe the 7 deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle as a mere murder mystery would be a disservice. For there is something much more inventive going on. An old formula is spun on its head by an inspired, game-changing twist. It's just one after Stuart Turton, a Costa book award for first novel. I have never read anything like it. I have, however, played games like it. The flops are piling up for video game titans. Christopher Paul Mary Bloomberg article. In recent years, the video game industry looked like it had found the antidote to the boom-bust cycles that had long plagued the business. The biggest names in games have stumbled this year as marquee titles flopped and online spending came up short. Simon, just note, I think flop is a bit much, but looks like valuations got overheated. And this follow-up about upcoming Activision lack of showcases, that a bit more. Sadly, what it means when we dream about video games. Cecilia D'Anastasio critical article. For people who spend a lot of time plugging inputs into video games, the game does not end when their head hits the pillow.